Good morning, sweet world, and welcome to the No Dunks podcast on the Athletic Network. It's Friday, September 4th. I'm J.E. Skeets, and joining us here live, as always, we got Tass Millis.
Sports are fun.
We got the bearded one, Trey Kirby.
Hey-o.
Hey-yo. We've got the international man of mystery, taking it to the max, Lee Ellis.
Friend.
Nice guns, Lee. And last but not least, making the magic happen, JD.
Hello.
There he is, and here we are on a Friday. We're fired up. Shout out to everyone joining us live on YouTube and or listening to the podcast a little bit later. Keep your questions and your comments coming for our next Beach Steppin' podcast. Email them in, nodunks@theathletic.com. Tweet them in at NoDunksInc. Oh, baby, let's just jump right into it, Tass. OG's 3 beats the buzzer to lift the Raptors over the Celtics 104-103, saving really the series, saving their season, at least for now. What a shot, what a play, what a pass, what of everything, baby.
Oh, my goodness. Especially after the Celtics felt like they had given the Raps 3 daggers at the end. That last one from Kemba Walker, 24 seconds of dribble, and a dunk felt like right in the heart of the Raptors. 0.5 seconds left. My goodness, Kyle Lowry over a giant in Taco Fall, 7'5" on that inbound. What a pass, and especially smart to take a step back. Yep. I think it's pretty essential there that there's no fans. There's a little extra space, and I wonder if that works in a regular situation. Either way, absolute money, soccer pass over the head. And I'm so glad it was Kyle Lowry because, all the credit right now going to OG Anunoby, the post-game interview, fantastic. But Kyle Lowry, definitely the MVP of this game. Raps don't get anywhere close to that final play without Kyle Lowry. Oh, my goodness. It's just how much 0.5 seconds in a sporting match can change the series, because this thing felt like dagger again, dagger. It felt like Jaylen Brown, the two-hander. Trey already mentioned the LeBron spin, from game 1, like the Celtics had sort of replicated that spin. Like it felt like there's just a lot of, hey, Raps, you're done. Feels like the old days. This is long over. And then boom, out of nowhere. And it also felt like that play was going really nowhere. It just felt like those guys were all locked down. And Kyle said it was supposed to go to either Pascal Siakam or Fred VanVleet. And he just had the patience to go all the way across the floor. That's a bomb of a pass.
What a bomb.
What a play.
That's why you put maybe your best, of course, playmaker, your leader, your guy with the balls of steel as the inbounders, Trey. I love that this came right after the SGA. Exactly.
Interesting. Having your best passer throw in the pass, one of your biggest clutch guys throw in the pass, it worked. That's crazy to me. This was wild to watch, though. After the Kemba pass to Daniel Tice, I was like, this guy left too much time. Oh, no way he didn't. There's only 0.5 seconds left. What could possibly happen? And then, just honestly, the perfect pass from Lowry. And you're 100% right, Tass. If Mark Wahlberg is there in Boston, he's in Kyle Lowry's ear saying, say hi to your mother for me. You think Lowry's able to make that pass in Boston? I don't know. The space was huge. But that's why you do it. That's why you put your best passer, the guy to pass the ball in. Like you're saying, the play wasn't going as they expected. Kyle Lowry calls the audible, goes deep to the end zone. OG money.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, a rainbow, soccer-like pass that hits him right in the shooting pocket, Lily. And OG lets it go and then has maybe the greatest non-celebration of all time. Just walking over to the guys as they mob him. Then he continued it in the post-game interviews. We'll get to that a little bit later. But what a play, yeah. I mean, that's like a 50-foot pass there. And it's right on the money. And I heard Nick Nurse talk about it after. First off, he found this play apparently by watching an old Hubie Brown, coaching DVD, maybe VHS, Betamax, I'm not sure. And then Nick Nurse said, he was asked about Kyle taking it out, being the inbounder. He says, because you got to have some guts, man. You got to make gutsy plays every now and then. No doubt. Can't think of a lot of guys that maybe have the guts just to chuck that over. But Kyle Lowry's a fucking dog. This guy willed them to this victory. OG money with the shot.
You love to see a guy just simply demand the ball. Am I right? He just demanded the ball out there, said, I will be the one to throw this inbounds pass on a play to save our season. You love to see it. He's
You
built
do.
for
You
it.
do. You do. Lee, what do you
Yeah.
think of the shot, man?
Well, the shot itself was incredible because I think what's also sort of a little overlooked is Jaylen Brown makes actually a pretty good contest on that. He gets right up there, and it's a bit of a rainbow from OG because, you're not allowed to catch the ball and release it with less than 0.3. But with 0.5, he can apparently catch it and still release it. Like that to me is still what's so freaky about this play is like he catches it and then is able to sort of get enough strength behind it to get it up there and just sort of flick it. And I think that was his only shot of the fourth quarter too, I believe. So, there was so much luck involved in that. Just the fact that you could get it over Taco Fall, find the right guy who was kind of unmarked there. The Celtics saw the play as it was unfolding there, but they just couldn't quite get to OG in time, and he knocked it down. But, I always look at these and you hear about afterwards, like it was going to go to Freddie, it was going to go to Pascal, and then in the end, Kyle decides just to go with the guy who was open. Like there's so many little wrinkles onto a play and how many options they have. But at the end of the day, you just have to throw it and hope that it finds the right guy, because when you've got that much, that little time to go, you've got nothing else other than just to catch it and release it like OG did. So, lucky for the Raptors that went in. They're back in the series now. But if you're the Celtics, they had this game. I mean, those last three possessions, I think their last scoring possessions were a Tice dunk, the Jaylen Brown hammer, and then another Tice dunk there right at the end. Whereas the Raptors, I know Kyle Lowry did get a layup where he basically went into the body of Tice to get that basket. But otherwise, it felt like the Raptors offense was hopeful rather than really effective and efficient. So the Celtics will be disappointed they're not 3-0 up in this. But just an incredible playoff moment and a great win for the Raptors.
Yeah, I love that it was these two guys too, Lowry throwing the ball and OG hitting it, because those two guys in this game specifically, they played 92 of a possible 96 minutes in a must-win game 3, and they were the two best players. Van Vliet got it going, Siakam got it going, but these two are the rocks, in my opinion. Kyle early in this game continued 31, 8, and 6. I think Bruce Arthur said, these will be one of the games you should remember from Lowry when you visit his statue outside the arena 10 years from now. Truth. He also played the final, what was it, Tass? 6 minutes with 5 fouls? It was something crazy where he was in foul trouble and he picks up one more, he's out of there. And then OG, who's been really damn good for the Raptors the entire bubble run here. Maybe, at least their second best Raptors player out there, I think, for a good chunk of it. So him hitting that shot was awesome. But Kemba Walker, I thought, look, I'll be honest. When Kemba Walker set up the Tice dunk there, it's like, oh my God, Kemba Walker just killed us. And I can't even be mad because I love Kemba Walker. Yeah. He's so likable. And, it's nice to see him obviously on a team that has title aspirations and all that. He was sort of stuck in Charlotte. But you could also tell people that are not watching Kemba Walker on League Pass when he was on Charlotte, he was doing all this stuff. These Kemba-like moves, Kemba-like shots. The guy's smooth AF. But you see people like, whoa, this is amazing. This is what he's been doing. It's just like you're not watching it, unfortunately. So I'm happy for him. But the guy was a killer. And we just happen to have a killer on our side of the team as well, or on our side of the floor in Kyle Lowry. It was a nice battle between these two awesome point guards, in my opinion.
It's different when he's doing it with Frank Kaminsky and Nicholas Batum, though. That's that's why it doesn't stand out, because no one, people just don't watch the Hornets when they haven't been that good. But he's been awesome, and he can get his shot anytime he wants, anywhere he wants to. Yep. That's a real problem for the Raptors for the remainder of this series, is how they actually slow him down, because when he goes out there, he's been playing. He's such a better fit for that team than Kyrie Irving, because he's like, I can get guys involved and he's got plenty of options out there, or I can just get my shot and I'm knocking that down from the mid-range. He's hitting the threes right now. He's looking great. But then on the defensive end, Jaylen Brown, again, he is relishing that matchup with Pascal Siakam, which was kind of a little bit weird that Brad Stevens went away from it late when Pascal knocked down a couple. But Jaylen Brown right now is in Pascal's head. I saw a couple of times when Pascal had it and he hesitated. He didn't quite know what he was doing on the offensive end, because he knows if he goes in against Jaylen Brown, Jaylen never bites on a pump. He's always there waiting for him, and Pascal just can't shake him right now. So that's another concern for the Raptors. I know Pascal hit a couple of shots, but, that Brown, when Jaylen Brown's on him, you just got to stay away from him, because Jaylen Brown is eating his lunch right now.
I'm not even sure it's stay away from him. Siakam needs to just make moves quickly. When the ball comes to him and he's like quick with his decisions, good things can happen even with Brown on him. But man, anytime it is like, hey, Siakam, go to work, or here's the ball, It's I hate to say this because I know he might be watching. Siakam turns into Matt Austin with the chicken wing on his dribble. The handle's not there, man.
Mouth
It's
wide
like,
open.
Yeah, he just throws the chicken wing out, and it's you don't want that from the NBA player. But he did hit a couple shots late. Raptors task. I mean, look, they just hit some threes too here in the second half. They went 8 of 19. I think from distance in the second half where the Celtics went a little cold, and that's a huge difference maker too. I mean, Lowry finally hit a couple, Van Vliet hit a couple, Siakam again, and then the OG one, of course. They just had to hit shots. We kept saying that after 2 games. You got to hit some of these to give yourself a chance, and it was still a close game.
Still a very close game. They had to grind out until that last frickin' second. And that Kemba Walker shot especially felt like a dagger because he took the entire shot clock. Mm-hmm. If you're a Raptors fan and you're watching and you're just waiting for a shot to go up or a steal or something to happen, you have to painstakingly wait every second of the shot clock. And then, boom, he finds Daniel Tice underneath, and every Raptor looks at each other like, what? Especially Lowry. We're just kind of a little blame thrown at the other guys. Lowry's like, what how did that just happen? And Kemba Walker did the exact same thing in game 2 when they thought they sort of doubled him, but he kept the dribble alive, and he goes at another guy, got his preferred option against Serge Ibaka, and another one. So it definitely felt like a dagger, but that's what champs do. They really did not stop, even though, again, they don't have the best player in this series, so they have to overcome some way, shape, or form. And I think that's a good thing for the Celtics. The best player in this series is Jason Tatum, but he didn't have a good night shooting the ball whatsoever. And I think that's a little scary for the Raps, even though it sure feels like huge momentum on their side. Tatum is going to come back with a vengeance. I'd rather, if I'm a Raptors fan, had a Jason Tatum go 10 for 18 and get the win rather than 5 for 18. Where he doesn't feel good because he's going to come back and get those superstar-like moves out there and be dribble. But at the same time, it was good to see Pascal force it a little bit because at least a couple shots went down. Fred had 5 threes. And those are the 3 guys. Kyle Lowry was MVP. He looked like Game 6 against the Warriors. Kyle Lowry, apparently he got a text from a friend pregame that said, "What are you waiting for?" Reporter said, "Who was that friend?" He said, "None of your business." Perfect Kyle Lowry answer.
It was me, Tass. It was me.
He was listening to No Dunks.
Yeah. So hey, those 3 guys are really the offensive option. Of course, OG is the grinder of the 4 wings, 10 boards. Beautiful game from him. But the other guys have to score and you play those guys heavy minutes. You mentioned all those guys playing a ton of minutes. Hopefully Coach Bud does that today against the Miami Heat.
Yeah, Van Vliet talking about you need a little magic. You also need a little fan support. Nice to see the boys out there sharing their photos. I'm talking to you there, Guns, with the Mo Pete jersey right now. You were standing. Trey Kirby standing. Tass, I don't know. Did you ever stand? I didn't see a photo. What happened over there?
Oh, man, I was just watching your multi-pronged social media attack. I had no time to stand. I was watching you go viral, my man.
Oh, man, it works, man. Hashtag stand with Skeets. We got to bring it on Saturday, guys. We're going to need you standing again because we got to make this a series. Because now the Raps got to obviously, of course, take advantage of this and try and make it a best of 3 series. And that is not going to be an easy task here because Kemba is money right now. You're right. Tatum is likely going to bounce back. Will the Raptors 3 balls suddenly disappear again? They can't hit that. I think it will be another close one. It's going to be a dogfight because both these teams fight hard. But goddamn, that was fun. I mean, look, just the biggest swing you can imagine in terms of emotions. I was like, all right, okay, man, Celtics are a damn good team. Getting ready to craft the tweet. Where can I buy a green hat? That's what I was going to write. Where can I buy a green hat? Send me a link. And then they have still half a second left and Kyle and OG pull off the miracle here. And now you got Van Vliet talking a little junk, apparently, as he's going back to the locker room.
Wow.
I don't want to give JD more work here, but they effed up and stuff like that. Oh, they just gave him a little fight there, Lee.
Write the story when the ball's in the air, though, because you're right. That half a second went from like, oh, my God, 3-0 down, the series is over. Will they get swept to like, we're back in it. We can do this. We can do this, But it is similar to what happened with the Bucks last year. Remember the game 3? It took double overtime for the Raptors to win that, and it just sort of seemed to get something going. Now, I mean, that it's largely irrelevant, of course, to this series, and Greg Popovich hates it when people talk about stuff like that because it's like, well, what's that got to do with this? Nothing at all. It was in Toronto, blah, blah, blah. But the one, there are still some questions with the Raptors about their offense, but what do you do with Marc Gasol right now? Because he just looks sort of out of place.
Cut his hair. Let's start by cutting his hair. Let's try that.
You
Yeah,
don't like
I
the
don't know.
feathered bangs? You don't
I
like
ju-
the George Michael look?
I mean, I like how it looks, but you got to switch it up. I mean, I'm obviously a little superstitious here. It's not working for him on the floor.
I mean, like a couple of times when the ball goes to him, he just fumbles it and loses it, and he just looks slow and he gets beaten. And I mean, he's an important, experienced player, so you sort of rely on him. You know that he's done it before. But there are a couple of times where the ball goes to him, and I'm like, oh my God, it's like the Celtics are just going to take it off him, or he's going to make a bad shot or throw it away, and it's got to be out of his hands quickly. But yeah, I mean, he's a vet. You sort of think he's going to do something. He's going to perform for you at some point, but we're sort of waiting and waiting and waiting for it.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it does when you watch both these teams play, even the Game 3 victory for the Raps. I was talking to my buddy Grish about this. It feels like every Raptors score is such like a, God, that was a dogfight. Wow, way to get in there, Lowry. Way to attack Van. Oh, that was exhausting. Whereas the Celtics, it feels just a little bit more in rhythm. It just feels more like a basketball team just finding their looks, feeling a little comfortable knocking them down. It's sort of just a glaring just watching of the game. Like, I know both are amazing defenses, so they're not making it easy, but it just feels like it's a little easier for the Celtics. Am I crazy, Tass, thinking that?
No.
Like, every possession for the Raps in the half-court setting is like, God damn, here we go again.
Yeah, especially because it really took 2.5 games until the Celtics offense kind of went cold. And they kind of did in that third quarter where they decided, oh man, this zone is kind of killing us. Let's go to Enes Kanter of all people to try to be the zone buster because we can't score.
Yeah.
So it just felt like everything was in rhythm. But it is true that Game 3 against the Bucks did turn that series around, and that was a grind, and it sure looked like it was over. I think everybody and their mom thought that series was over after 2-0, but it just takes one play. It just takes one little thing to happen. And so, yeah, that third quarter really turned things around. And I think just a few things. I just can't get over the Kyle Lowry game. To have Lowry as your number one guy, go for 31 like that. The Schumann stat, got to get in this Schumann stat. His 20 points in the paint were a career high. 1,007 total games. And that just shows you how much he was grinding and put this team on his back, because the other guys they kind of chipped in, but you need everybody to be good.
Yeah, he didn't put the team on his back. He put the team on his balls.
And his boost, though, and his boost inside.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what he was doing. Like, he just goes in there and he knows against Tice he's not a great shot blocker, that he can just sort of muscle him out the way to get those easy looks. But yeah, that one that where he got hit in the nuts and they challenged, and it was upheld. That I thought that was a very strange call, because I can't remember who it was. Just recently, someone went up for a layup and kneed the other guy in the nuts, and it was taken back. It was overturned. And I think it was also called a flagrant. And I thought I had the same things, because Kyle jumps straight up. He actually makes the verticality.
And then he comes forward because he gets kneed in the balls. Yeah. And then he contacts him. Yeah.
Everything is being reviewed though as a hostile act, right? I think even the referees went over and said, "Oh man, we can't call everything a hostile act. Let's just keep this thing going." I agree. There was another hit to the testicles, which was called a hostile act in another game, but even Stan Van Gundy, everything. Now you just kind of question everything. It's like we're in this, I don't know, the Matrix, or this, I don't know, man, the Twilight Zone. It's everything is being reviewed.
You're right. It's starting to feel like it's going towards the NFL, where you're like, I don't know what's what anymore. Like, it feels like no one's sure, that from game to game, from officials to official, what is a hostile act? What isn't? What is it? And with the same thing happens in the NFL. I don't even watch the product all that much anymore, but what's a catch? What is it? Like, it's becoming a little like that, which is a little worrisome, because that's not good. I mean, it's not great for the game. I don't, for either of them, in my opinion. When you got I don't know what the rules are. It's different every game. What, you need them in the balls? Isn't that an offensive foul at least? No, nope. You can do it this one. It doesn't make a lot of sense. Well, which testicle was it? We'll have to go zoom in on that one. What do you think, Trey?
What about Kyle Lowry's balls? I think that this is the perfect game for Kyle Lowry, because not only did he get kneed on the balls, he made a huge clutch play. That's double balls right there, brought to you by Manscaped.
Yes. Yes. So, I mean, look, okay, Game 4 this weekend. Some of you will be standing. Tass will just be sweating, apparently. Tass, I got to ask, what are you sweating right now, or is that your shirt? I can't tell.
I've been sweating since last night. No, I went for a jog. Everybody in the chat with their comments Tass Moist Ass from Sarah Gray, a good one. Tass Smell Ass from Jared Dryden. Good stuff. I'm definitely a little smelly. I got to get my run in down here in the South pre-show, or else it's midday and it's a scorcher down here.
But you're leaving it like you go for your run and then walk in, like sit down at the mic and like go from there. Yeah,
I'm a last second man. I procrastinate till the absolute last second. And this these shirts are supposed to be
dry fit or whatever.
Dry fit? I don't think so.
What fit?
I don't believe so. No.
Well, as long as we're talking about the slick look, the wet look, people were loving Lee Ellis's hair last night. His stainless steel picture, looking like a young Michael Douglas.
You can't really.
You got
see
the
it.
locks. You're trying to catch Trey Kirby there with your.
No. I could never reach those levels. I haven't had a haircut, I think, since February, and I'm okay with it right now. It's cool, you know. Yeah. So I like it. It's going to be there the whole time. My old friend, my mate, old Eight Toes, called it a mud flap. I've never heard that before. But the
power look, man, looks awesome. Yeah. All right. So stand with Skeets, sweat with Tass. We'll get them all trending on Saturday, and we'll see. Yeah, if the Raptors can turn this into a best of three. I mean, you got to like that little boost of confidence that they finally pulled it out, even if it was a miracle play. But you need a little magic, says Van Vliet. I love it.
And those other dudes can play better, right? I think
of course.
Pascal can play better. Fred can still play better. Marc Gasol, even though 10 points, 6 boards, I think that's probably all you can expect. He can at least get Tice off the freaking glass a little.
But that's a problem. The 10 points and 6 rebounds in itself sounds, that's not too bad. But I just feel he's a bit of a liability out there at both ends, because Tice, he can move around. He can hit that mid-ranger. He's active. And then when they've got Time Lord coming out there as well, like those guys with their athleticism really just stands out a lot too, I think, with Marc Gasol. Marc Gasol's never been super athletic. When you've got a young guy who can go up there, contest shots and throw down dunks, like that's something that Brad Stevens knows. He's like, we've got an advantage there with these young legs, while Marc Gasol is not burning these guys on the other end. So it's I
think all you can expect is 5 for 9 from Marc Gasol. But when Daniel Tice is getting those extra offensive boards, he's the one who popped up that extra board for the Tatum pass to Jaylen Brown.
Yeah, that was huge. I thought that was the backbreaker.
Yeah. You had Jaylen Brown dunking on your head, 3 minutes left with the two-hander. That one looked like this thing is over. That's like Joel Embiid flying. That's like LeBron, spinning the ball. And then you get a backbreaker offensive rebound. Then you get Kemba. But what a team. What a team to fight back for 48 freaking minutes.
Never underestimate the heart of a champion.
Yeah, somebody said that about OG Anunoby. Oh wait, he didn't play last year. Oh, that was our friend Ken Angeles in the chat. Yeah, all the Raptors boys definitely sweating in that third quarter. What the we can't get an easy basket. We can't get it. And it's totally true. It felt like they were down 15. But look at the score. They were down 4 or 6, but because they were working so hard, it feels like a double-digit deficit at all times. And then Nick Nurse went back to the archive in the brain and said, I watched that Hubie Brown DVD once upon a time. Nick Nurse, he's an incredible coach. Somehow, subtly makes it about himself every once in a while, right?
Yeah, buddy.
Every once in a while.
You got to remind people you're the genius every once in a while.
The gourmet spud mentioned that, so let me give the gourmet spud. I'm crediting the gourmet spud on Twitter, just like saying the gourmet spud.
I noticed something else Nick Nurse does that's really, really wise, and I'm surprised maybe some other coaches don't do it. I know some do, but like in a close game, tight game, you're defending, right? He will, and the entire staff will be barking like crazy. Like I don't even know what he's yelling. I'm sure he's yelling like, here, the picks are coming, or switch, or be whatever, be ready for this. But I think that that ramped up intensity from your coach and even from the other guys on your bench, I think that's going to help your chances of getting away with a little more contact. You can be a little more physical. Do you know what I mean? Just like the firing up of the energy, especially from the coach. I think you help your chances. I think he does it purposely, because I realize he saves it right till the end of games to pull that one out of his little breast pocket there just to get crazy. I'm telling you, this guy's got all the tricks. What were you going to say?
You saw that on a Pat Riley VHS.
Yes, yeah, for sure. What were you going to say?
Who's got better faces, him or Coach Bud on the side? Because Nick Nurse is always doing like he's probably a little bit more with his whole body and his hands and his face, but yeah, then you got the Bud just like.
No, Bud's got the greatest reactions because it looks like he's like just crapped his pants or something like that every time. But yeah, Nick Nurse has got more variety, I think. But he is a meme. Every time they go to him, there is like a meme there.
Yeah,
yeah. You can have a lot of fun with it. All right, let's move on. We could talk about the game winner all day long here, but we had another game. This won't take long though. Kawhi scored 29 points. The Clippers crushed the Nuggets in game one, 120-97. Wow. I'm not even sure it was really that close. Lee, biggest takeaway from this?
Have you ever been to like a birthday party or a wedding where someone has a really killer speech and everyone's laughing and rolling around having a great time, and then there's another speech that follows it up and everyone's just like everyone's just sort of just dead silent because this person might have some good material, but when the bar is that high, it's like, oh my God, what the hell is this guy doing? Just get get rid of the mic straight away. That's what I felt like watching this game last. I mean, I think you tweeted, Skits, like you're not ready sort of to go after a game like that to just straight into another game.
No, I gotta look at the memes. I gotta get my tweets up.
I know.
I'm not concentrating on the Nuggets Clippers game. Yeah.
By the time you pick it up in that second quarter and it was out because it was a close first quarter, but then Kawhi and Paul George kind of put the foot down in the second quarter and it was 18 points. And it was like, so by the time I was actually sort of then picking up this game, I was like, oh man, this one's just flat. The Clippers are way too good. The Nuggets, understandably, a little flat. You know, emotionally, you've been on such a high after their Game 7 victory 2 days earlier. They're a little emotionally, physically tired. It was tough for them to reach that level again. So there's not a lot to say. The Clippers were very good, very dominant. I think the Nuggets will be better, but the Clippers are going to win this series. It's just really whether they'll do it in 4 or 5 games.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, LA shot 57% from the floor in that second quarter. Denver shot 25%, and that's when the Clippers blew the doors off this one. Jamal Murray fell back to earth, of course. I mean, you got Kawhi, and then you got Paul George switching on you, or Morris switching on you. I mean, they just did an incredible job of shutting him down. He only had 12 points on 5 of 15 shooting. There's not a ton to add. Patrick Beverley played about 12 minutes. He contributed in those 12 minutes, hit some threes, grabbed some boards, obviously made his presence felt on the defensive end. What else do you have to add, Tass? I mean, Lee's not wrong. It was just like, this was like a schedule loss, if you can call it that, even in a weird way, after you're coming off a 7-game series with high stakes to then play the Clipper teams that was pretty well rested.
Well, yeah, a few things. They're going to track Jamal Murray with a bunch of guys, even though a guy might start on him at the beginning of possession, like Patrick Beverley. They kind of just say, hey, Zubats, stick with Jokic, and our other 4 guys, it's Beverley, Kawhi, Paul George, and Marcus Morris, we can all switch if need be. So it's really like 4 guys kind of watching him and saying, screw it to the other 3 guys if we can leave those guys open. And so that's just going to be hard work. I think you might see Jamal Murray handle the ball a little bit more because then it's at least a pick and roll and you got to kind of pick your poison. But if he's going off the ball like that, not good. And I think I kind of underestimated the importance of Patrick Beverley. Even though he played 12 minutes, he took Landry Shamet's spot. He just gets the juice flowing right off the bat for that team, and there's just no letdown. I think it's just an emotional thing. He's just ready to be spitting and ready to go from minute 1. And not a ton of minutes, but probably a little bit of a better ball handler than Landry Shamet in the way he can drive. And so you got a nice balance. You can go with whoever you need to go. Next series, Patrick Beverley might not be that important against KCP and Danny Green, but right now he's helping out. And it's nice that they didn't suspend Marcus Morris for the Los Angeles Clippers because that guy is a monster. He really is so good. And some nice moments there with the son on the sideline. But I think you just need Nikola Jokic to be – you need him to ball. And so you kind of have to force him. Like Trey mentioned in the preview, you kind of have to force him. And I think that's why the Jamal Jokic pick and roll is pretty important because he gets involved in the play and he's got absolutely no option. And he's not sitting on the bench in the third quarter chewing his gum. Or I guess that was the fourth quarter. Did you guys notice that?
I was out by the fourth quarter already. It was on to bass fishing at that point, buddy.
I hear. I mean, I said I was definitely watching it like with half an eye in the first quarter because I was obviously on the social medias just basking in the glory of that Raps game, and then I put it off. I put it off till the morning, and I said, screw it. I'll wake up early and I watch it. And I got into the fourth quarter when Jokic was sitting there in garbage time and he was chewing on something. He was chomping on something. So I said to Danielle as we were in front of the TV, "What's that man chewing? Aren't there rules about eating on the bench here in the bubble? There's no sunflower seeds in baseball. There's no crying in baseball. There's no gum in basketball." Well, there is gum in basketball.
There's gum. Yeah, Billy Donovan's been chewing on the same piece of gum for the last 3 weeks. See that guy chomping away during that series?
It was I'm not sure what Billy was chewing on, but Nikola was chewing on extra, the long chewers, those extra. It was a green pack, so probably
chewers.
Probably a peppermint. I mean, that's what I miss the most about hanging out with you guys in the office, just throwing a pack of gum around. And
it's fun. You're right.
Who wants to chew?
Back in the Matty O days, that was always fun. Taking all his gum.
I haven't had an orangey in years.
Yeah.
Putting it in the cupboard so Matt doesn't get to it.
Oh, man. Yeah, hide your pens, hide your gum with that on.
Hide your pens, hide your gum, hide your pens, hide your gum.
Yeah. Every now and again, another pack would just turn up. Well, where did that one come from? Oh, I don't know. I don't know. Who had it? I don't know.
Oh my goodness. Okay, the only thing I'll add to this series, to this game, I should say, I think it's getting overlooked a little bit, maybe, how healthy Kawhi Leonard is right now, right? Because Kawhi was amazing last year and taking the Raptors to the title. He's even better right now, and a big part of that is because he's not laboring through injuries, right? I mean, he was hurt last year, still doing miraculous things, but now he's averaging in the playoffs 32.3 points per game. He had 29 in game one, didn't play in the fourth quarter. He is shooting 64.5% inside the arc lead and nearly 60% on twos outside of the restricted area. Mm-hmm. So 65%, let's call it, inside the arc, inside the three-point line. But it's not all at the rim. It's not all dunks. This is not, DeAndre Jordan here or Mitchell Robinson or whatever. These are outside of the paint, jumper after jumper after jumper. He is so damn good right now. And I swear to God, it's sort of overlooked a little bit. Where I know there's talks, you see the stats oh, he's got another 30, but man, I'm looking ahead. I don't know if the Clippers will pass the Nuggets, but I'm looking ahead to a battle with potentially another LeBron series than Kawhi. Though.
Yeah, it feels like it though too. It feels like when he wants to go and get a few baskets, that's all he does. It's either sort of just facing up against his opponent, or he just takes a few dribbles, backs them down, nudges them out the way, and then rises up, and that shot just drops every time. I mean, you said the percentages there. I would be surprised they were up to 85% because I don't remember.
They're actually close. Tom Haberstroh has the stat as Kawhi Leonard is shooting 80% from 10 to 14 feet. I mean, that's basically free throws, 80%. You have to start looking forward to another series because maybe finally there will be somebody that can guard Kawhi Leonard. I mean, Maxi Kleber was trying hard. There's not a matchup for Kawhi on the Nuggets. No. He should be roasting both of these teams, and he is. Yeah. Kawhi's awesome, man.
That's incredible. That is the percentage because, like I say, I don't remember him missing more than one or two in a game from that spot. It feels like every time he goes there, it goes up, and they're swishing in too. It's not like he's catching rim or, sort of just getting good bounces. It's every time it's just so clean and pure. So,
but again, I think that is a little bit related to how healthy he is. I mean, if you can see why when your legs are sore or you have a nagging injury down there, well, maybe your explosiveness, your jump, your leaping ability on your shot is going to be a little more flat. And maybe that's when, he's got crazy spin with his giant hands. Okay, it can still obviously bounce around up there and drop. But you're right, Lee. It's swish, 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 swish. That's usually you're getting nice height on it. Obviously, he's shoots it high anyway. He's a terror right now. He is unstoppable. And yeah, you're right there, Trey. I hope we see someone on the Lakers there, see if they can match up with him a little bit and try and slow him down.
But who's
Would
it
it be
going to
LeBron?
be?
Would LeBron be the guy to actually come out and say, game one, I'm guarding Kawhi Leonard from the start? I doubt it. I mean, it would probably be KCP. Maybe they'll throw their Morris out there to try and get in his way, confuse him perhaps. But LeBron will have to do it at some point, right? He'll have to be the guy at some point.
Yeah, because it's either going to be KCP or Danny Green out of that starting lineup.
He knows all his tricks.
Yeah, he does know his tricks.
Opponents.
But yeah, I mean, you can't throw LeBron on him for the entire game. But if it's close and it's and Kawhi's got 30, 35 points, it's going to have to be LeBron, I think. And Kawhi, he's not going to be afraid of that matchup either. Kawhi,
he's had some success in that matchup.
He's had some success, and he's just feeling so good about the way he's playing right now. So anyway, we'll talk about that when it happens.
Yeah, he's definitely been the best player in the bubble, even though it's just Kawhi-like, so people haven't been talking about it as much. Anthony Davis is absolutely right there, so it just feels like we're going to get the two best players next series. It sure feels that way. And I think Jeremy Grant was doing a decent job. He did a decent job during the regular season, but he's just a machine right now. He really is a machine. And they put in Gary Harrison to the starting lineup to try and mitigate him and Paul George. And Paul George still doesn't look right. He had a decent game. He was trying his darndest there. He's getting on the floor. I think some credit to Patrick Beverley for getting all those guys going, but he turned it over a good amount and missed the layup. And I don't know. I don't know when Paul George is going to be superstar Paul George, or maybe that doesn't exist. Trey, maybe that doesn't exist.
Well, okay. Let's
maybe next round.
I've got a couple of oaths regarding Pauls around here, so I'm just gonna play it cool, man. Paul George won me over when he said the bubble was getting to him, and I gotta admit it. Marcus Morris won me over a little bit yesterday when he was kissing his kid on the sideline. I was like, oh man, I like Paul George and Marcus Morris now. What's going on around here?
He almost stepped on his kid's ankle there for a second. Just thinking about it.
Wow.
It's a dirty diaper play.
Yeah. Okay, well, we were talking a little Lakers in there. We were slipping in there to looking ahead, of course. Maybe not doing the Lakers any favors there. We're going to get to our Lakers-Rockets series preview and predictions, but first, a quick word from our sponsors. Okay, so game one, Lakers-Rockets. Tips tonight, Friday night. It is Friday, right? I think. Yeah. TNT, 9 p.m. Eastern, game one, Lakers-Rockets. The Rockets and Lakers played 3 times this season, but in just one of those games were the key players on both teams out there. Houston took 2 out of the 3, though. So take whatever you want from that. Let's get into the keys of the series before we make our predictions. Tass, why don't you get us started? What's your key to the Lakers-Rockets second-round series?
Well, that one game that they did play where the Rockets had decided we're going small ball, baby. Right. It was actually the day right after the Clint Capella trade. Russell Westbrook was in the lineup. He had 41 points against the Los Angeles Lakers, going 17 of 28. And that's why he's my key to the series, really. There's such a vast chasm you can get with Russell Westbrook. You can get an okay one, but you can get an incredible one. And I think you're going to need that in this series. This is exactly the type of series they traded him for, where there's a bunch of trees on the other side, a bunch of bigs sort of standing around, and Anthony Davis and JaVale McGee and Dwight Howard, and he's got to be able to navigate that and just go through the trees and get to the lane and score. That game was exactly what you'd expect from the series. Lakers pound inside, Rockets won the fast break battle, they won the threes, and to me, it's when you make that trade, Russell Westbrook is the guy who's got all the space out there now, and he's got to be able to slice up a big team. So to me, from the get-go, that's the number one thing. If that doesn't happen, if Russell Westbrook is just average, then the 2 stars on the other side, LeBron and AD, are going to win because they're going to play pretty well. And this isn't like they're playing OKC where you're going to get the Rockets can get by with, Chris Paul and Dennis Schroeder having a 20 or 25-point game. The other one doesn't show up. AD and LeBron are going to show up. Russell Westbrook has to show up every single game.
Okay, so Westbrook, a big key to this series. Trey, where you got your eyes on?
I think Tass nailed a lot of the things here. The Lakers should smash it inside. The Rockets should be bombing from outside and probably running the ball a little bit more, though the Lakers do pretty good when they get into transition, when they really commit themselves to that. But the thing that's a question mark for me for the Lakers is, can they hit threes? They had a couple of stinkers in round one. They had a game where they made 5 threes. They had a 10 for 30. They eventually figured out their shot. They were shooting 34% in their first round series, but the Rockets shoot a lot more threes, and they hit 36%. So if the Rockets are going to be able to knock off the Lakers at all here, get any wins in this series, it's going to be from the 3-point line. They're going to have a game where they make 20-something, right? And it can't come in a game for the Lakers where they make 6, where they make 8. If they're getting beat by 10+ from the 3-point line, then you're going to be in trouble with LA. That was one of the big questions with them in the seeding games heading into their series against Portland as well. They were talking about how they didn't figure out the sight lines. It seems like things are normal now. They can shoot threes, but they were cold before, when they had a little bit of they said they had a long layoff compared to the layoff that the Blazers had. That's even more so now compared to what the Rockets have. So maybe game one, the Lakers come out. It's a brick fest, and Houston, they've actually been playing some competitive games here. they're still in a little bit of a flow. Perhaps they get hot from three and they knock off the Lakers in game one. And we're talking again like, ooh, is this bad news for the Lakers? It could just be another douchebag sweep, but the Lakers have to hit from three to be at their best.
Yeah, that's interesting. I'll go next here because it's sort of similar to what you're talking about. I think it's very clear the Rockets are going to be like, well, we can't stop LeBron James and we can't really stop Anthony Davis. So they are going to get their numbers. They are going to get their points. And we'll be fine with that, especially AD, who's likely going to take a shot that they almost want him to take, right? The longest two, unless he's beasting inside, which you don't want, obviously, dunks and layups. But AD found his shot as the bubble went on. He's been money recently from there, but they'll live with that, I think, because they don't really have an option. The key to them is going to be stopping all the other Lakers. 80 again, LeBron 35 plus. Okay, that's going to add them up to 70 or 80. We got to stop everybody else. We got to eliminate Kyle Kuzma, Danny Green, KCP. We just have to slow them. Vogel loves Caruso, what he brings defensively, but they're going to treat him. They should treat him, like the bald Dort, right? I mean, he's the bald Mamba is 5 for 28 from behind the arc. Dort. So he's not a great shooter, and they got to pick and choose like who we're leaving. Dort obviously hit some shots in some of those games, but other times didn't, and it was ugly. They're going to do that with him when he's out there. So to me, I don't like the Rockets' chances to win this series, but they need everyone else besides AD and LeBron to go cold, and then add on top of that, like Trey said, the randomness of them shooting 50 or 60 threes and what happens in a game like that. Like, they can hit 8 or they could hit 25. So that to me is like just reducing those other guys, the other Lakers, if they can, taking them out of it. And maybe that includes some of the bigs if Vogel does continue to go big with Dwight. And I don't know about McGee. He seems sort of out of the rotation for the most part to me. Hasn't given them a lot out there. So we'll see. But I don't it's going to be tough for the Rockets to pull this off, but that's something they got to do in my opinion. What do you got, Lee?
Yeah, it's sort of similar. The Rockets just have to play defense that we have seen from them at times in the bubble here and certainly in the postseason against the Thunder, because sometimes the Rockets look like they're really locked in and engaged. They're rotating, they're moving around, they're getting to shooters. And other times it looks like the other team can just score whenever they want, and they can't afford to do that against the Lakers, who are putting up 117 points a game in the playoffs so far. So you know that if the Rockets say, let's just make it a track meet, the Lakers will go, okay, we can do that as well. That's fine. We've got guys who can hit threes and we can score. But the Rockets have to at least make it difficult as best they can for the Lakers, because they have got options. But when that Rockets defense is at least focused and determined, it just does make it harder. And I thought at times they really impressed me with their defense, but other times it was like, where is it? Where's that defense that we saw before? And the thing is, PJ Tucker is going to have such an enormous workload in this series. He can't stop Anthony Davis by himself. Nobody really can. So they're going to have to make sure that they lock in on him. I know what you're saying there, Skeets, like make sure those other guys, don't go out there and burn you. But at the same time, I mean, you can't just have Anthony Davis taking those mid-ranges because he's just knocking those in at a Kawhi-like rate right now. So, there's so many different ways that the Lakers, I think, can hurt the Rockets, but the Rockets just have to put in the effort to start with on the defensive end.
Yeah,
I thought Mike D'Antoni actually had a really good plan for how he's going to use PJ Tucker. He's going to have P guard Anthony Davis and J guard LeBron James. That's what he said. Maybe it'll work.
I'd like their chances, actually, to maybe make the series if that happened. Okay, so let's get to predictions here. Task, get us started. Lakers, Rockets. How many games? Who you got winning?
Yeah, the Rockets didn't finish that series, all that well against OKC. It just wasn't that convincing. I expect, Harden to bounce back offensively. I expect Russ to have a good series. But I think the Lakers are just a little bit more in sync, I guess. If the Rockets rain down, I can definitely see them taking a couple games in this series. So I'll give them 2. I think the Lakers will win in 6.
Okay, Lakers in 6. Lee, let's go to you next. What do you got?
The Rockets, having played 7 games already, 7 exhausting games, I think it's going to be a little bit like the Nuggets going in against the Clippers there last night, where it's like, all right, you have to get right back up to it, and now you're going up against a completely different matchup that's going to be very, very hard for them. So I think the Lakers are going to be just ready and waiting for them. James Harden and the Rockets, if they do hit those threes in the game where they might hit 25, that's their best chance of pulling off a win. But I can't really see it happening more than once, so I'll take the Lakers in 5.
Oh, Lakers in 5. All right. TK?
Yeah, I mean, this seems like it's a Lakers series, but you can imagine the Rockets will get hot. So I, too, will go with the Lakers. I'll take them in 6, and I actually think the Rockets are going to win game 1. I think, I think they'll just catch fire, and I think that'll be it, and we'll do a little bit of the LeBron game 1 feel out. He likes to see how they're going to be guarding him, especially against the team that's playing all smallies. They're going to be switching everything. He's going to take his time figuring that out, try to get other guys going. The Rockets steal game 1. We say, is LeBron washed up? Guess what? He's not. He's going to be playing in the conference finals.
I look forward to that conversation on the podcast. I'm also going Lakers in 6. You're right, though, Trey. I think Harden has to be special here. I mean, he needs to save face a little bit after what happened in Game 7 in that series versus OKC. That would help, him moving forward, and he can. And we know he's capable, no doubt. He's got to start hitting some threes. And I think the Rockets. I don't know what the record is, Lee. I don't know if you can look it up for me, or Schumann's listening right now. What is the most 3-point attempts in a playoff game? I assume the Rockets have it, probably the top 5 for all I know.
I think they did it against the Thunder in the playoffs. It was like back-to-back 55 and 57.
Okay, well, put me down for 60-plus 3-point attempts in one of these games from the Rockets. So they're going to beat their own record. And, mathematics, man, that's what they're going to do. Hey, AD, you keep shooting all those 2s you want. We're going to try and bomb away from 3 and see if Covington and Jeff Green and House and Rivers and obviously Harden and Westbrook to some extent, if we can just hit enough to win this game. And I think they will do it once, and I think Harden wins them even a game, or a Harden-Westbrook pairing. So Lakers in 6. I think this will actually be an entertaining series, though. Maybe just with all the firepower out there and stuff like that, it'll be fun. But I can already feel like the Lakers fans, especially if they do drop game 1, Trey, they're gonna convince themselves that they're the underdogs somehow in this series.
They're already working on it. You heard the same exact rest versus rust argument. They're like, I mean, the Rockets have been playing. We've been sitting here for a few days. I don't know if we're going to be able to get back out there and do it.
No, you're the favorites, guys. You're the favorites. You're the number 1 seed.
No one seed has had more hurdles to overcome than the Los Angeles Lakers, and they're getting ready to play game 1 of round 2.
Yeah, all right. Well, we all got Lakers winning. A couple of us Lakers in 6. We got a Lakers in 5 out there from Lily. Let's hear from you guys.
Just one last thing. Hopefully, they learned something from that Portland game 1. Hopefully, they learned something from February being the first victims of the new Rockets there for their sake. But also, I think what could work in their favor is that LeBron is fired up because Jay Williams included him in a Twitter chat.
Oh, no.
And
about what? The Giannis Scottie Pippen thing?
Yeah. LeBron doesn't usually go at anybody on Twitter like this. But after Richard Jefferson said Giannis might be a Pippen, Jay Williams said so LeBron was a Pippen. And with D Wade once. LeBron was a Pippen with D Wade once. And that pissed off LeBron. Explain me what the fuck's I got to do with this subject matter? I'm over here minding my damn business preparing for Houston. And by the way, I ain't never been nobody but my damn self. Crown emoji. Shit.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did he put washed up King though as well? Because he's been working that one all season, so that plays into the Lakers
washed
underdog.
Up Pippen.
Yeah.
He'll be ready.
I'm happy that we avoided this entire Richard Jefferson, Scottie Pippen, Giannis stuff until now. We had avoided it, but I'm just trying to be a Lee Ellis on today's show. That's all I'm trying to do there, Little news, guys. Ja Morant, he is your rookie of the year. He was named it yesterday. 99 first place votes from a global panel. I love saying that. Of 100 sports writers and broadcasters. He earned 498 total points out of the 500, the max 500. Heat guard Kendrick Nunn finished in second place with 204 points, while Zion Williamson of the Pelicans received 1 first place vote and finished in third overall with 140 points. I don't know if any of you guys caught Ja Morant on TNT there before the games yesterday from his beautiful, beautiful home. He's got the entire full court basketball, nice looking pool. Even Draymond Green mentioned it there in the conversation. Oh, you got that big boy house already. No, not wasting any time getting that. So congrats to Ja Morant. No surprise here. I guess the one shock, Tass, is that someone decided to throw a vote to Zion Williamson despite him playing 19 games, I guess it was.
Do we know who that was?
I don't think we do because John
No.
Morant wants to know.
Yeah, John Morant tweeted. He needs to find out because he's someone who likes these sort of motivational things. He wants to go out and prove someone wrong. So, yeah, it must have been a New Orleans-based person, wasn't it? I mean,
You would sort of think so. I guess it could technically be like, well, I think Zion's just the better player. It doesn't matter how many games he played. Yeah, I guess it's that sort of thinking.
Unanimous anything are pretty rare, I suppose.
Yeah.
Unanimous votes. But yeah, this
he
could
should
have been.
Yeah, he definitely should have been one. I liked I don't know. They did he did a couple cool little photo shoots. John Morant did with the trophy and everything. Had the chain on his Rookie of the Year award there, Trey. I'm sure you like that as a chain wearing dude.
As a chain aficionado, yeah,
Yeah.
I love it. Hang your chain on something that's not a neck, and it's going to be a win as far as I'm concerned. The only other interesting thing is, Zion got one vote, but Kendrick Nunn finished second. I think you would have guessed that Zion was going to finish second in Rookie of the Year voting, despite the fact he played just 19 games. The argument would be, he's still the best rookie, even though he didn't necessarily produce. But Kendrick Nunn had a great season, and he started for the majority of the season for the Heat before coming down to the bubble. And he was good. I'm just surprised to see him finish second over Zion.
Yeah, it's a weird thing. It's like, okay, you've only played 19 games. So if we've all agreed that's just not enough, it's actually weird that he's even in the top 3 if you think about it. Like, why? Well, like you're saying, like, why is he even there? Like, what about Brandon Clark or something like that? Like, it's a weird little thing where we've decided, okay, well, that's not enough for our first place vote, which it shouldn't be, in my opinion. I think we'd all agree with that. Nor should it maybe be enough for any vote. But here he is finishing third and taking Brandon Clark's spot or something like that, who I believe finished 4th. I think they told John Morant that. Anyway, there's only 2 awards left. 6th Man of the Year, woohoo! And the Most Valuable Player Award. And you saw the jokes going on after Game 2, after the Bucks lost. It was like, the league better hurry up and give this MVP to Giannis. Unless some crazy things happen here and they get swept. So I don't know when we'll see this, Lee. Any predictions when they just hurry up and hand them the MVP?
Well, I guess they do the 6-man first, and that's it's kind of been on a weekly thing, hasn't it? So we
Sort of.
Yeah, so it's probably, but yeah, if the Bucks lose today, maybe the NBA's like, all right, quick, get it out tomorrow. Just give it to Giannis. I suppose. I mean, then give Schroeder, because Schroeder's, I think, going to win the 6-man of the year, but he's already gone.
Yeah, that's the question. Is he? Yeah. I would have thought Schroeder too, but OKC is already at home. There's 2 Clippers on the ballot, and they're still around.
Yeah, but I guess it's like we just saw with John Morant. You just get him fired up at his home and
his
say,
house.
Hey, here you go. We sent you your award and congratulations. Who do you want to thank? And blah, blah, blah.
I mean, that's the thing. If Giannis is down 0-3, he's probably not going to want to then receive the award between games, is he?
I wouldn't think they're going to do what they did for the Defensive Player of the Year, where they bring the whole team in and they're all sitting there. That'd be a little awkward, I think. It might be a wait until if they got eliminated, just wait until they're home at that point, which is sort of sucks too. But we will see. It's not over. It's not over. We thought it was over for the Raptors. Bucks could pull something out tonight. Let's get to tweet of the night.
Tweet of the night. Wow.
Twitter.
Well, Raptors Twitter, I mean, they just brought it last night. I mean, there was a million great tweets that we could have picked from here, but let's start with OG's legendary post-game interview. Here's a small clip.
How did you stay so cool after such a big play?
Because when I shot, I expected to make it. So I don't shoot trying to miss. Every shot I shoot, I try to make it. So I was not surprised because I wasn't surprised.
He wasn't surprised. Why act surprised? Amazing.
I even love the way he starts it. Cause I thought I was gonna make it when I shot it. Duh.
So my favorite tweet off of this interview. Again, there was thousands to pick from. Lee, you almost sort of gave it away. You almost accidentally teased it, I think, earlier in the show when you were talking about Kyle Lowry's boost. Because our friend of the show, good friend of ours, Ashley Docking, dear Lord, please give me the ass of Kyle Lowry and the confidence of OG Anunoby. Incredible tweet from Ashley. Oh my goodness, I love that. So there you go. Yeah, you were on the right mindset there, Lily.
Yeah, I was thinking boosters all night long.
Awesome. All right, so congrats to Ashley there on Tweet of the Night. Let's get to a little 5-Star Friday. Oh yeah, let's do it, TK.
Beautiful. It is indeed 5-Star Friday, the first Friday of every month. I'll read out 5 of the best 5-star reviews we get on Apple Podcasts. Skeets, you'll have to be the Spotify man at some point. I don't know if they have reviews, but we'd love to get those people involved. Anyways, sending in a review, 5 stars only. It's huge. It's huge for your boys. We go up and up and up and up and up and up on those rankings. Soon to be the number 1 sports podcast. Soon to be the number 1 podcast in the world.
Right.
As long as y'all keep sending in those 5-star reviews. So our first one, the title, Good Day, Sweet Podcast.
Nice.
Comes from Luke Schlongley, who says, No Dunks is almost as funny as that comedy bit from the TNT halftime show where they raced to the board. Good one last night,
They did it
Skeetsy.
again last night.
Hilarious one last night. Instead of Kenny Smith, it was Draymond Green.
Oh, and he is quick.
God.
He is quick.
Oh my God, he's so fast.
He's so fast. Our second 5-star review comes from Wiley Quixote. It's titled The Batman, and this is the full 5-star review. The upcoming Batman movie, which will be Batman Forever remade as long as movies are made, is not an origin. It details Bruce's second year as Batman. The movie draws inspiration from comic runs, The Long Halloween, and Batman Ego. It is not another reiteration of Batman's origin, JD. It is much more complex. We saw him in the eye makeup. This is a rambling comment, but I love Batman and the No Dunks crew. Turn up. Love you guys. Awesome. Those are just some Batman facts.
Hey, appreciate it. I don't know if
Appreciate those
JD
Batman
got an
facts.
opinion about that review.
I mean, I don't care. I don't care.
I mean, a lot
Batman
of people think Batman's like the worst superhero of all time, right?
do they?
Well, yeah,
think
because
people
Get
love
out
it.
of
he doesn't have powers. He's just rich.
He's
That's
cool
true.
as shit, though. I mean,
Easy, Michael Douglas.
come on, man. He's cooler than Superman. Have you ever been to
I would agree with
Superman?
that. He is
Sure,
cooler than Superman.
everybody's cooler than Superman. He's
Yeah.
the world's biggest geek. That guy. But is Batman cooler than Iron Man, who is also his only power is rich and he's a
Good
genius?
point.
Great
Wow.
point.
I mean, for me, yes. I mean, I'd rather be a Bat than the Iron Man. I mean, he's got that. His suit's way better. His car is way better. He's got
suit
way better.
Iron Man doesn't need a car.
Yeah, but that's the problem. Like Batman can go cruising around.
No,
picking
think
up
of the
chicks.
parking. Think of the parking
with
design.
Iron Man. He can't
Hey.
drive.
Hey, Batman had voice controlled cars before it was cool, way back in the late 80s there. So, I mean, he's like, you tell me if the Batmobile turns up, you're not just going to be like, oh, I don't want to drive that. You're going to want to jump in. And I'm talking about the original Batmobile too from the 60s
Yeah.
with Adam West. I mean, that baby would, imagine the chick should pull driving that around.
Listen to this pistol head or whatever. What was it called again?
Petrol head.
Yeah.
You got the sleeves of a petrol head right now.
I've got the haircut.
I'd
as
love
well.
to pop the hood on that Batmobile, get under there, see what they're working with, see how many horses they got under
Ah, yeah.
Mud flap just blowing in the breeze. Our third review. It's from Am Hubner. Says, do I have anything to add? No. Wait, that's the title. And here's the review. When ending discussion on a topic, Skeets will often ask one of the dunkers if they have anything else to add.
Mhm.
They always say no, but then actually add more to the conversation. Do I want to add anything else to this review? No. But I will say this is the best NBA podcast. Been listening for years, and even though they always lie about ending a topic, they always add good input and hit dingers. That's why these shows are 90 minutes long every single day.
Yeah,
Anything else? No. Well, just one last thing that I have to know.
And the other thing, just so people know, like listeners out there too, it's because of this Zoom crap that we have to do, where the technology can be a little clunky. So it's got to be like if we're all in the room together, one day we'll all be in the room sharing a pack of gum again together, and then it's easier. Like it's like me looking at tasks to like, okay, there's the verbal cue. Like, do you have anything? Or you see the like, I got nothing. But it's like because of this, it's like, what about you? What about you? What about you? And I mean, I know I hate it too. I do. But
Everybody loves a good game about what about this guy.
Yeah.
One of the best. But you're right. The hand signals, they just don't hit the same. When
Yeah,
you're
they don't.
doing
They
it
don't.
virtually. All right. Our fourth review, 5-star from Sleepy E, says, very good audio. And the chemistry is on par with Max Weinberg and Conan O'Brien. My room is at 71 degrees.
Oh, no, thank you. Yeah, I did ask for that to include the temperature in your house.
Yeah, there's a lot of temp checks in there. That's the other
Good.
great thing about looking through all these 5-star reviews is you see all the random tangents that we go off on that are important for like 3 days and they keep coming back and then you forget about it. But you're like, yeah, there was a time when we were just very curious about the thermostats in everybody's room. But, Lee switched his place he's at now, and nobody cares about thermostats anymore.
Yeah, now they're all like, oh, he's like got his head perfectly between these weirdly framed animal photos and stuff like that. Yeah.
Lee, you have a giraffe right behind your head. You should switch the zebra and the giraffe because that's your brand, right?
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
Yeah, look at it. There he is.
Oh, there it is.
Good point. What do I got that side? That's a duck, I think. Yeah.
That's a duck.
That's a duck.
That's a duck. All right, our last 5-star review comes from a name that I cannot read. It's titled Great, and the entire review just says bonin. Thanks. This random string of numbers. MFIVDRGXS. Bonin.
Boning. 5 stars.
Must be
Boning.
Fred Barry.
Yeah, maybe it is Bones himself. All right, that is excellent. Thank you so much to everybody for those 5-star reviews. Keep them coming, and you'll maybe find yourself on the next podcast early next month because, yep, we will still be podcasting in October. My God, Tass, the basketball never ends, man. It's never going to end. We're just going to keep going and keep sweating through shirts, buddy. What do we got today, though?
Yeah, 2 a day. Keep coming. The second one we already talked about. Rockets and Lakers, 9 o'clock on ESPN, 9 Eastern, of course. The first one, get your thoughts on this before we go. 6:30 Eastern TNT, Game 3, Milwaukee, Miami. I'll just throw in this here. We saw Giannis go into the lane a ton and kind of barrel his way down there sort of late. He was trying to make things happen. I'm just worried about the Bucks' late game situation, really how they execute. And I think we're going to see some more Giannis jumpers, even if they're mid-range, because he's really a solid mid-range shooter. I think he'll make some magic happen from there instead of putting it on the officials. He'll put it on himself to hit the shots because they're going to give him some space. And then, of course, he'll get the Twitter backlash of, oh, you don't drive, you're taking jumpers. But it may work out for him, but I'm still concerned with the way the Bucks execute late. But let's get your thoughts. Trey, what do you think about this game? Game 3, can the Bucks do what the Raptors did?
Yeah, I think the Bucks can turn it around. But like you're saying, we need to see the Giannis that we saw for the last 6 minutes for 48 minutes, basically. Mike Budenholzer, no way he's going to play him 48 minutes, but it'd be nice to see 39, 40, and it would be nice to see the aggression that Giannis had there down the stretch in Game 2 for the entirety of the game, because like you're saying, like he was making plays on the fast break with that crazy Euro step around Bam. He was running guys over. He was doing everything he possibly could to get to the rim and just playing harder than basically everybody else out there. It didn't end up working out for the Bucks, but if you get that level of effort from Giannis from the tip, they're going to be a lot tougher to beat. He hasn't had an incredible MVP level game yet in this series, and the Bucks need to see it tonight.
Skeets, what are your thoughts? Can they replicate what the Raps did, or is Mike Budenholzer holding them back a little bit with the amount of minutes he's playing his stars?
Well, yeah, that's exactly right. I'd be very worried. I just said it. I mean, what did I say? Lowry and Lowry and OG played 92 of their 96 minutes. I mean, Bud, do that. Do that with your star players. Do that with whoever's playing the best in this game. And of course, Giannis is going to be one of those guys. I'm skeptical he'll do it. So I'd be a little worried if I was a Bucks fan. They can win this game. They can still make this a series. Though I said it felt like to me the Heat in winning that game 2 were like, we got them. They're done. Let's send their ass home. And, they're playing with some confidence right now, obviously led by their guy in Jimmy Butler. So I'm taking the Heat tonight to go up 3-0 in this series. I think they really did smell the blood there at the end of game 2. It will be decided very, very early. This could turn into a blowout if the Bucks sort of, roll over and die, so to speak. And hopefully they got some fight in them. You got Giannis, I assume you're going to have some fight in them. So hopefully it's a close game, but I like the Heat to pull it off. Like you said, Tass, down the stretch. I like Jimmy Butler being my go-to guy a lot more than I like Giannis, unfortunately, or Middleton for that matter. So give me Miami to go up 3-0, as crazy as that sounds.
It's hard. The Bucks haven't really found their gear yet, and they sort of forced their way back into that game. But it wasn't that close, really, if it wasn't for that crazy sort of ending that game would have been another comfortable win, I think, for the Heat. So, but then again, the Heat have won 6 in a row, so they're almost due for a bit of a stinker themselves, a bit of an off game. And the Bucks, desperate. This is their season tonight. I say the Bucks get one. I say the Bucks get it back tonight. They get it back to 2-1, and because if they don't, if they go down 3-0, then of course they're toast. But yeah, this is a big game for Coach Budenholzer, a big game for Giannis, and big game for Chris Middleton, all those Bucks. Because if this season ends going out in a sweep in the second round, or 5 games in the second round, that'll be quite a disastrous end to what was a very promising season.
Yeah, I think I'll take the Bucks too, and I think you're right. The Heat can have a bad game. It could happen. So I think it may not even come down to the fourth quarter in the last minutes. I think Milwaukee could have a blowout win here, but Jimmy Butler also wants to have a bounce back game. It's kind of weird to think that, but after all the cred he got in the first game for the fourth quarter, he wasn't around really for the second game. So he should bounce back. But do you think they're in the locker room, the Bucks are, saying, hey, those Raptors were down 2-0 to us last year. They came all the way back. We can do this too.
Yeah, probably, right? Serge Ibaka was saying that to the Raptors about when he was on the Thunder with the Spurs. So I guarantee those conversations are happening.
Hey, I got a question with the Bucks. Are they still doing their weird, like, little wrestling things before games? Because I haven't seen any of those videos.
Interesting.
Yeah.
What's that reasoning? Social distancing, maybe. I don't know.
They did it in the first round, right?
Yeah, they did in the first round. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Haven't seen those vids. Haven't seen the playful, fake wrestling from them. What's going on there? Maybe it became too real. Ooh.
What?
I don't know. Someone didn't. What did they say? I forget the term there. Trey,
working stiff.
Yes, that's it. Someone was working
just
stiff,
like Lee Ellis every single podcast.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see those guns, Lily. You got the there you go.
Yeah, it's you out there.
I call this one Gazey and this one Copeland.
Yeah, yeah, that was great.
That was a great podcast. Go check that out. I know Lee tweeted. I tweeted as well. That's pretty amazing, Lee. You were on a podcast with 2 Australian basketball legends. They had you on their podcast.
Yeah, they invited me to join them, which was really fun. But Gazey and Copeland, they're branching out a little bit, getting into the podcast game. So it was a fun chat with those 2 legends. They were basically, like, for people who don't know, the Shaq and Kobe, that's Michael and Scotty of the Melbourne Tigers basketball team. Played together forever, won a couple of championships, had a great connection there. Gazey would throw up the lobster to Leonard, who would throw down these awesome dunks. And Gazey,
the lobster to Leonard.
Yeah.
They play with a lobster in the Australian basketball.
So yeah, it was great. It was great fun with those guys. So check it out. I'll tweet it out again today. Why not?
Yeah, no, I listened to a good chunk of it. It was great. They were pretty solid. If that's fairly new to them, the podcasting. Yeah, I thought Gazey was a pretty damn good host, to be honest.
Yeah, I think they only started like 2 months or so ago. This is like their 6th episode, something like that. So yeah.
What's the pod called? We got a Lucas Hamlisher.
What is it called?
Uncut, I think it was called.
Yeah, no filter
doesn't
media.
Even know what it's called. He has no clue. It's like, I don't know. Gazey called me up. I started talking. They told me it was a podcast.
Yeah, Uncut. It is right. That's right. Uncut. Thanks, Skeets.
No problem. It was a good listen. And I did tweet this, like, the first part of it, you're telling your story, because obviously it's like, how the hell did you fall into this type of job? And your story is hilariously crazy to me. Like, the more it brings a smile to my face. So go check that out. Uncut, Gazey and Copeland there with Lily, the star of the show there on that podcast. That's a lot of fun. All right. Anything else to add here, gentlemen? Should we call it?
No, but wait.
but wait. Yeah, I'll just remind you guys to email us your questions and comments to nodunks@theathletic.com. If you listen to the podcast on iTunes, as we said, leave your boys a 5-star rating and review. Go grab your No Dunks merchandise at nodunks.com to get your tees. That's it for today. Clipper Bros.
You heard it here first. Have a great time. Turn up. Love you guys. Awesome.
No cute quote today. Thanks for joining us, folks. You're the best.
Embrace the day, people.
You could stay, ooh, every day, and I'd be happy every minute. It's been so long.